So they all left. That was it. They all came and they all left. Phew. It was kind of like being in the eye of a tornado some of the time. I know it's not really a tornado, doesn't really have an eye, and that's what it was like. There was no eye of calm in the middle of the tornado. Just like being in a tornado for a while. My back is a little sore, but it will improve. I have to make myself look like I am completely undisturbed by the situation I have just survived. It was so nice. We've been, we had COVID, or no, we didn't, but there was COVID in the family, and so we'd all been exposed. And so I tell you, that was we were quarantining for days, and now we're kind of all free again. And it was awesome because my son from Ottawa came out with his son, their son, and his wife stayed there, and we got to play, and it was so awesome. We went to Vancouver together, like we did a lot of pillow fights and a lot of hide and seek, and here, we had a pillow fight. All all three grandkids and me. It was grandkids against grandma, and they were trying to find a name for themselves. They were sure there was a name. I can't remember what they came up with. Anyway, of course, we had bathroom words in there, of course, so they have to put them in there. But anyway, so that was a lot of fun. That was nice. And now I'm recuperating. We went outside. I haven't been outside for a long time, but it was a sunny day today. It was very cold this overnight. It was -20 last night, but it was nice in the sun. But there was the top of the ice, top of the snow, like the snow baby, just nothing to think about. It's maybe that much. And when you walk along on it, you have to bang down because there's this layer of ice on the top. You see, even if you don't get warm weather, you've got this much powdery snow, and then the sun comes out and it'll melt the top. And if it does that, you'll get crystallized. The whole top part will be crystallized, or if it really heats it up, it'll be a flat layer. And of course, we've had freezing rain. We had freezing rain, and then we had snow, which started to melt, and then more freezing rain on it. And yes, it's very, very difficult to walk on it. Anyway, so one of them was going to go around, and he was showing me all the forts, and he decided that the fortress, which has always been the fortress, it's got some raised beds and a fence around it, but the fence is kind of falling apart. So for a while it was the garden of my daughter. Anyway, so we went in there. This is his fort, and over there is where his spot is. There's a pile of dirt, and then there was something over here, and so behind that would be his spot. And we went all around. It was so nice. I haven't been out there trouncing around because it's I could fall, but I had to go out there with him so he wouldn't fall, and so I just banged my feet every time. And actually, I was heavy enough. I tried. He said, "No, don't bang it. Just walk on top." So he was walking on top, and I would try, and sometimes I could walk on top, and then my foot would fall through. So it's easier if you smash your feet every time, because if you put them on what you think is a firm surface, and then it goes under, it messes with your back. Anyway, I had the best time ever. It was so nice to have them here. I'm so glad they could come. But they both had to get home. And so they're gone. But Maya was out there too. She was coming after, I was just saying the grandchildren were here, and they'd just gone home. And we were walking around outside, and he would say, "Well, let's go down, let's go this way." And so I was following along, and we were holding hands, and it was great because, we got to know each other pretty good when we were having all those pillow fights for 2 weeks. We'd have a pillow fight every morning and every evening. And then he had all of his stuffies. Every time we'd go to a gift shop, he'd bring back a stuffy, or they'd buy him a stuffy. So he had all these stuffies, like 20 stuffies or something. We did a lot of things. And and so we would keep them in a drawer, and we would play. Anyway, so today we went for a walk out here around the yard over and over. And then you remember the branch of the maple tree that fell? And so it was kind of, it has this big trunk that goes along, and then it has this whole thing that is just like that. Actually, it looks like my arm, except there'd be a bend. Oops. There'd be a bend about middle of the screen. Anyway, and so it looks like that. And so I put that deer netting over it last year. Not this autumn, but last autumn, so 2020, I guess. I put that over it, and then I put some grass and leaves on it, but most of the leaves and grass pooled down because it's branches, just like my hand. And so it pooled down in between the branches. And so a lot of it is see-through. And it's sort of tangled up in there because the branches are not all properly ready for it, you know? They're not all properly ready for it to be a nice fort to play in. We got to do that, and then two of them played on the trampoline, and the other one was chasing everybody and, you know, slamming doors. No, no. Anyway, we had to intercede in that. And then intervene. Anyway, it's been a good day, and it was a lot of noise. Oh, and then there was, over there we have the, where is it? Over by the door over there. See if I can get the camera to make my hand go in the right place. Oh, that's how I do it. So right there, I think. What's that yellow thing? Yellow thing is a chair. So which way am I looking? Kitchen, whatever. Anyway, so over there at the end of the couch is a children's kitchen set. And I went in the dollar store one day and I bought up all these hamburgers and hot dogs and carrots and all these toys that were in the shape of those toys, but they were for dogs, right? So they had a squeaky inside of them. And so then and the chicken legs and stuff like that. It was amazing, all the stuff you could get. So I put it all in the kitchen. And so yeah, they really were interested in you know, cooking the chicken in the oven, getting it out of the fridge, putting it in a bowl and putting it in the oven, and then putting it on a plate and putting it on the little table. See, I got a little table there by this, you know. It was really nice. It was a lot of fun. I'm so glad they came. The days were pretty long with nobody. It was pretty long. Imagine if that's the way it has to be again. It was so good to have them come. So I guess since school is now canceled, I guess, at least for this week, and more restaurants are closed now. I don't know if they've closed all restaurants or just certain ones that have gotten COVID in them have closed. I don't know. Anyway, so he'll be off school, so I'll have to drive in and visit. That should be fun. Should be a lot of fun. There's a car I'd like to buy. Actually, I don't want to buy it. If I can buy a car that's newer than mine. Mine is a 2006. You think I'm old. Anyway, it's a 2006, and I can get a 2011 for about $5,000 or $6,000. That's a Toyota Matrix. And I don't know if I really want to do another gas car. You know, maybe it's time to get an electric car, but they cost such a lot of money, and I just can't see spending that much money on something that's only going to last 5-10 years. 2006 it's not 20 years old yet. 15 years old. Imagine if we bought it new, spent all that money, and in 15 years, all that money is gone. And the car. So I'm not sure about electric cars, but if we can get a hybrid that's used, I don't think that the used cars are coming on the market yet, because it's all too early, don't you think? But right now, my car, you smell it. You smell, in the inside, it smells like exhaust or something. Maybe it's not exhaust. Maybe Yeah, maybe the rings are going. But doesn't that make black smoke or great smoke out the back? What will make it smell? Unless there's a hole in it. But the mechanic looked at it, says there wasn't a hole. So I don't know. But things rust. But they're not steel cars anymore. Aren't they more of fiberglass? Must be anyway. Just take some foam insulation, squirt it in the hole, cut it off, paint it, wax it. Perfect. Just perfect. Or do it, cut it off, throw mud on it. Matches everything else. Hi, Susan. Hello. It's nice that you're here again. How are you feeling today? Having a good day? I'm having a good day. I no longer have cabin fever. We just had a house full. I guess there were two families. I was babysitting, so Desmond and Maya were here, and while their mom did stuff, and then my other son in Ottawa came with his son or their son, and the three of the grandchildren, the cousins, they got to play together as cousins. It was great. And they were hiding together under the blankets when we were doing hide and seek. I looked in and there's two little heads, two cousins, not brother and sister, but the two cousins here. It was just so cute. I used to love going to my grandparents and seeing my cousins. You took your tree down. Oh my goodness, not mine. That's staying up. That's my lights. When that goes, then we have the darkness of winter. Not happening here. That can come down when it's Easter. I'm sorry you're in a little pain. Is that what you just said? You're in pain? Pretty sore. A little sore. Yeah, it'll do it, won't it? I had a great time. They wanted to go in everything. Oh, and I showed them the Hobbit hole. And they went in there and I said, this can be your fort. It's all these bins, two sides, and then equal amount as a passageway. And they can walk in there, but it's too narrow for us, or too low for us. We have to crouch down. And so these little grandchildren, they were having so much fun in the Hobbit hole. I brought a bin. There's the bin right there. That's what's in there, is 2 rows of bins. Some of them have my mugs in them. Yes, most people have less room than me. When we first moved here, the neighbors said, "Are you sure that you're going to fit in that house?" Because we had 5 children. 4 of them were at home. But since then, we've gotten a family room and a new kitchen and a big whole room upstairs, a whole room, and a deck all around the house. So it's not really the small house it used to be. Yay! But I've got so much stuff in it, it doesn't dare be any smaller. As soon as it got bigger, I just filled it up. That's just quick as a wink. I thought, oh, an empty spot. We have to put something there. And we did. Oh, remember today I was showing you, I was making something for dinner. It was going to be carrots and onions and celery and, what was the other thing? Meat. I took some of the meat out. My phone died. Sorry about that. It does it all the time, doesn't it? Might do it again today. This is what it turned into anyway, right here. Doesn't that look good? I pureed it up. But I have a problem eating soup because there's that makes our houses so small. I have a lot of when I'm eating soup, I find that eating liquid and solid, it goes down and then I hear it gurgling around in there, like there's too much air or something. I don't know. It doesn't. I think that I can't do solids and liquids together. So I thought I'd blend it up, but I didn't blend it up enough, and the liquids are kind of separating out. Oh well. I was thinking I could add lentils to it and cook it some more. And the lentils would just use up the water. But then it would be a lot of solid food. Am I that hungry? But eating lentils, eating lots of vegetables with lentils is a lot better choice than going to get a bag of chips that are waiting for me. I was really extremely heavy yesterday. Now, of course, I used to be 220, and sometimes I went up to 240. Mostly I got down to 220 and I stayed there for a few years. Anyway, and now I'm supposed to be about 150, but I've never gotten that low. I get down to 160, and sometimes, really rarely, I'll get down into the high 150s. But yesterday, I was 170. No, I was 174. Horrors! But then this morning, I was 169, so I'm trying to be careful. No more just consuming everything because I feel like it. No, we're back to toeing the line. Sitting by myself. Yes, I'm sitting all by myself. Willem is over there doing his computing stuff. Oh, he's playing chess. And there's the television waiting to be watched. But I'd rather talk to you than watch television because television, it sucks me in and I have nothing to show for it. But when I talk to you guys, well, not only do I get to express myself and talk a blue streak for a long time, that's my favorite part, but I also get to talk to you and hear what you say, and we get to have a conversation. These live videos they're pretty good. It's like, okay, party time. Everybody can come in now. We're all in Nancy's. I was going to tell you about this bin. So the bins in there, they contain my crafts generally. Like there's bobbin lace, and there's lots of different kinds of yarns and threads for the loom, and there might be some fleece, and there's needle felting stuff in there, and there might even be my rug hooking stuff in there. There's a lot of important stuff in there. And then there's my mugs. There's about 3 things of building friendships. It's really nice. It's really nice. This is, it's not about the thumbs ups because you can't base your life on that, right? But it's nice to connect with people. It's nice to have a group, right? So we become a little community. I get to be in it. Anyway, so this bin right there is full of travel writing photo albums. Yes, indeed. I could pull one out and we could look through it. Wouldn't that be fun? And I could explain to you all this stuff. Would you like that? Should I start a new video? Maybe I should start a new video. And then we'll have a new place to start. But first I'm going to... You look up to me. Well, I can sit in a chair if you'd rather. All right. Let's see if we can get comfortable here. Oh, yes, I don't have my egg carton. Sorry, I'm going to put you... Oh, that won't work. That won't work. I have to eat this and still have you there at the same time. Now, will this work? No. Oh, how about if I put it through my toes? And then I turn it with my other foot. Look at that, it works. You're sandwiched between my first and second toe, and then my other foot is holding it forward. Except now I can't read what you said. Eating soup is such a weird thing for me. Like, I can drink a glass of water, no problem. Something about eating it off a spoon. Yeah, I can hear my stomach gurgling. It's pretty weird, eh? But then when I get to the solids, There's liquids in there. So I have to swallow and then I have to chew. Very weird. Funny, in your mouth, you can quickly separate the liquid and the solid. But in the bowl, on the spoon, it's pretty hard to do. You have to, let gravity do it. But if you put it in your mouth, you just press it against the side of your top of your mouth and all the liquid comes out. And just naturally flows under your tongue. And then you squish your tongue down to the floor of your mouth and it just swallows. Boy, it was a whirlwind in here. When Mommy got back, well, I think that I was outside with, well, not right when she came, but soon after we all went out. Two of them went on the trampoline. Oh no, one was in here playing a game. And then when we all came in, it was a little bit of wild eye of the tornado sort of thing. We don't generally have tornadoes here. They always say, every time there's a big thunderstorm or something, a thunderstorm warning, they always say chance of a tornado and hail and all that stuff. But we never get tornadoes here. Of course. That was now history. And the future will be very, very dissimilar from the past. If it never tornadoed here before, it will probably tornado here now. God, come over there and see what you're saying. Almost done. Then I'm going to get that bin in here. Then I'm going to tell you stories about travel writing. I know. It's going to break into my television time. See, now that I ate this, oh, Willem? Mm-hmm. Were you ever able to find any toast?
Oh, yes, it's ready.
All right. Should I go get it?
Sure.
Okay, what did it say? I know I have a troll. There he is. So I'll just, oops, sorry. I'm too big. I'll click on him. I knew what you meant. You would look up to me like that. You're so sweet. Okay, that got rid of him. I guess I should report him and not remove it. Because if you remove it, then can I go back to the message deleted by? I'll put the report in. Okay. Unwanted content or spam. There we go. Actually, I think it's porn. But whatever. So I pushed the wrong button. I did it. I ate that food. See, now I want some chips. Or rice cakes. I can't have rice cakes because rice makes my knees hurt. I need my knees. I mean, it's one thing to sit around and watch television because you feel like it. It's another thing to sit and watch television because you can't do much else. Hey, I could have some hummus with peppers or something. See, I end up having to burp when I do soup. So shall we try out this bin? This is kind of exciting. I should plug you up. That's what they say in Georgia, plug you up. Put your IV in there, just hold still. There. All right, now you're all connected up. Oh dear. You see, if I could just separate this into 2 videos once it's uploaded, that would be good, wouldn't it? Okay, we're gonna bring it in. But maybe we won't bring the whole bin because it was a lot of work to get it up there and I don't think I can get it in. Oh, yes I can. Okay. In she goes. And we might as well just keep it right here by my chair because this is where I'm going to want to use it. Now we have a problem of another bin, right? Okay, we'll take the lid off and then we'll have a look. This is fabulous. I don't think they're wrapped. That was kind of weird that they all didn't get wrapped. Oh, this is the Taku trip. Oh my gosh. It's Taku number 2. Oh my goodness. Wow, I didn't know if I even had these anymore. Okay, let's turn it around and see. Okay, so this is, here we are on the raft. And I'm not one of those people. And this is glacial runoff, and this is in northern BC with the white spruce and the black spruce. And these were some of the people that were on the thing with us. So they made they took the tarp and used the paddles and the tarps, and they made it into a sweat thing. So he had the fire over here and he kept putting the rocks in. Let's see if that's another page. No. It was kind of an odd trip because they were a couple and they were a couple and there was one and they were a couple. And then there was one woman that was by herself. Oh, this is me. I guess. Yeah, I was always writing. Oh, look where we were. Isn't that amazing? It was a, we would sleep. This would be an alluvial plain that we slept on. We camped on. We set up our tents, pulled the rafts up on shore, and you can see our yellow tent back in the back. Is that a tent? No, those are the rafts. And every night we'd have a campfire. Oh, look, and this guy was playing a flute. There were 5 guides. Those look like they're all guides, don't they? Oh yeah, that was she's a guide. She's from Vancouver. And that's what we all looked like going down the river. We'd always keep our eyes out, peeled for bear and goats and whatever would be up there. And this is where there was a landslide. See, there was a fire, and then there was a landslide there. She was an awesome girl. She really loved the nature. And they had all this stuff. These things that the guides sat on, they were freezers or chests, not freezers. Who knows what that thing is? Anyway. Oh, that's me. Look at that. This was, I wonder how long ago this was. Wow, look at where we were. I remember this. I think the river, there was 2 colors of the river. The Nolin and the Inkling had come together. It was a confluence somewhere back upstream. And so they were now flowing side by side, but not mixing. And the river would change direction every day. See, it was cutting a new pathway through there. So you could easily see where it had been the year before, but where it had changed this year. There were always these areas of lots of logs in the way, lots of driftwood, I mean. So we'd find a place like that, and that would be our camping trip. Yeah, I was journaling about this trip. This was I was on a press trip. Well, it wasn't a press trip. It was a rafting expedition. I went there for Outdoor Life magazine, which was amazing. So that meant that they paid my way and my flight and all that. So it looks like, see, those are the tall, skinny trees like that. Those are black spruce, or in this case, I think they're white spruce. They've got pretty white things. And all day long, you would be going past the same hill. You'd go on all different sides of the hill as you rafted. And that's what we looked like. We were just out there on the river. We didn't have any place to go. Every night we would sleep somewhere just like that. Sometimes one raft they would hand things to the next raft. The water was always churning. It was going around in circles, and it was runoff. So, and it was very, very cold. I got a bit on my head once. It was so icy cold. Went for a walk through this sort of stuff one day. That was called bushwhacking. It was not a whole lot of fun. So this is looking out my tent door. What an amazing trip that was. And this was a typical meal. Like, the guides would be the ones they would cook for us, and then we'd sit around the fire. See, they were cooking. They had these big pots of stuff. All the drinks, and then the garbage bag. And then there was every time we stopped, they had one of those big McDonald's tubs or water dispensers or something. Sometimes there were fish in the water. Oh, this was really interesting because we didn't see anything anywhere. And so we came upon this. And there was a guy that lived up here, and there's a book written about him. It's called Evidence of a Murder, or no, I don't remember what the name is. But it was on Dease Lake, which was up north further. Telegraph Creek. No, this was, maybe so. He thought that the airplanes, the helicopters and float planes above, he thought they were the police that were dropping LSD on him, making him crazy. And he journaled. Diary of a Madman or something like that. Sotar. So they would always back up from whatever, like they didn't look where they were going. They were always going backwards and backing away from everything all the time. And so us folks, there'd be one at the back, and sometimes there'd be two, and here that was a couple, and this is their daughter and her husband, and then there was me and the other two. So there was an odd number. So I was always on my own, which kind of was very lonely. Oh, and that must be an eagle's nest up there. Ooh, it's getting a little damp on there, isn't it? There, you can kind of see him. Let me go this way instead. No, he wasn't the Unabomber. That's a lot later. This was, he killed a bunch of RCMP officers. I think the book is Diary of a Madman. He wrote a journal, and he wrote in his journal all the time. And this was another building we saw. So there were hunt camps, I guess. Oh, or maybe, yeah, I guess that's what this was. We went past the... So there was a typical spot we stopped. Let's zoom in on it and see what... So the bears would go right along the edge of the water, and so you'd often see their tracks in the mud or anything. So our bags were these big yellow dry bags, and those were what were all piled up under the person sitting and weaving. And rowing. So they would, wash the stuff or hang out. Every day we'd stop at 4, and we'd get up in the morning and we'd have breakfast and break camp, and then we'd be out there, I don't know, by 11 or something, or maybe less, and then they would raft until 4. And when they stopped, they'd put up these big tables. Where's the big table? There it is. See that? They had these big tables on each. So there were 3 tables and 3 chests, and that water cooler up there had juice in it or something. And then there was an orange one, which they would always put in the woods, and then they had another dry bag they would hang on a tree near it, near the entrance to it. So you would know that that's where the outhouse is, and you'd go through the woods, and if you took away the bag, then everyone else would know that someone's in there, because you hung the bag. That bag held the toilet paper. And then they would carry everything out. You weren't supposed to pee in the container. You only could poop in it. So you had to pee elsewhere, because they would carry it around. Okay, let's look at this one. I may have to get rid of that thing here and have to close it up. Okay, so let's look at this one. Look at those hills, eh? So that's a typical one of those things, and they would have like 30 chickens in there that we would eat at one meal. Like they put 36 legs of chicken on there one night. See, there's a table over there. I don't remember what they kept in these. I don't know, maybe juice and I don't know. I can't remember what was in that. Now this, you see, this is a little stream beside us, and one day he brought us over to it and he had us watching the water move, and he said, now if you notice that, listen to it, and when you're further up here you could hear the thud of the stones, the bigger stones, or maybe it was, and then after that you'd hear the littler stones, and then you'd hear the sand, and then the silt. You could hear it if you put your head down to the water. And those were all the things that were falling out of the water, which were creating this stuff. It was fabulous, wasn't it? All day we would be in these rafts, taking it from in a raft, of course. Just to show the top of my tent, I suppose. Oh, look, there I am. I must have gotten to take a picture of myself. Goodness. I don't look very small, do I? I remember kayaking or rafting over to this edge. For the most part, it was good water, but here it looks like there's a bit of a rapid there. And there was all this fast water coming out of there. It's pretty cool. Well, they took us to all these little spots along the river. Can you imagine? I mean, the views were like this all day. And I mean, you're only seeing a bottom of it, right? But this is what the whole thing looked like. Yeah, this is really cool. All these people in the boats, I really didn't know them. That was the guide there in the front, and that was the couple. They were from Australia. Sometimes, but to see one of the Australia guides, his brother was the guide on the thing. One of the 5. Look at how tiny we are compared to the mountains. Yeah, we had some choppy water sometimes. Oh, there's me. Yeah, it was a little, look at all this stuff I had to wear. It was Alaska or northern BC. So I had on waterproof or, rain pants and rain jacket, and I always had to wear that. And then onto it I had attached my camera and my binoculars. I had them, you see that it's attached here instead of attached around my neck. And I had to have my hat tied on because it was so windy sometimes, and my sunglasses, because it was really would reflect on the stuff. My rainproof gloves. It looked like I was having a good time. There were 3 guides. Look, now we're getting up into the coastal mountains. This was the Australian couple. Looks like we've stopped here. Looks like it was oh look, it's got the number, the date. 2089. Couldn't be January 20th. It could have been July, 1st of July we were there. 89 is the wrong year though. Totally the wrong year, wasn't that at all? Look at how beautiful that scenery is. I think this is our snack break. We took a couple snack breaks. And that would be the food table over there. I wrote an article about it for some gourmet food magazine. One day they made us a birthday cake, and they made brownies, and they made peach cobbler. She was the one that did that. She was always doing that. So that girl in the end was a professor in Vancouver, or Seattle. And then those guys were in Vancouver. I think this guy worked for the Sierra Club. He was a guide. Oh yeah, and sometimes we get, looks like they're washing the dishes. Hot water was ice cold. Oh, and that's water, okay. So she's filling it up with water. Well, maybe they added stuff so we had some kind of drinks, Oh, there's me. I really liked this stuff I was seeing. I don't know what this plant was. I put my cup there so I could see. Look how wild it is, though. There's nothing anywhere. There's no roads or paths or anything. Just on this rock. Oh, and this guy, they were competing doing flips or something. What's this? Oh, that's a date. And that's a knee or something? Oh, yeah, this is a person back there. Oh, I think I rowed once. Look at that. I was rowing. I didn't even know that was me. There's another one of me rowing. Huh, there I am. And this is what she made. Oh, this was an apple pie. It looks like phyllo pastry and brown sugar on top of it. I think that's what she's doing. They were about to put that in the Dutch oven. Can you imagine? That was the River League. They were really good at it. So this is in the top of the Dutch oven. I got so sunburned out there. Oh my gosh, my face hurt for weeks. They were from Jamaica, I think. These are the parents of the professor. Anyway, you get the idea. It was pretty relaxing out there, and the river was really loud, and we would just be floating along for days. Floating along. I had my journal, and I was always writing in it. My journal's full of all kinds of things because I described everything as I saw it. So that was a bald eagle. There's 3 of them, isn't there? Those are bald eagles too. Oh, what's all that? Yeah, I think that's a whole bunch of them. Wow. I have. That was an interesting thing to do. So these were migrating, so that's what she's looking at. And that's what it is. Isn't that amazing? Got another page in between here. Ha ha ha! There's a footprint for you. That's a bear's front foot print. These dots are from his claws. No, these are from the claws. It's just the ball of his foot, and those are the pads of his, and those are the claws. It was all kind of muddy. I think these are moose, or is that bear? Look at how big they are compared to my foot. Obviously they were bear. I know. Yeah, we were right out there. We were not on top of the food chain at all. Oh, and here's a back print. There's my boot. Now think about how big my boot is. This footprint, this back print is pretty big. There's another front print. Oh, and this would be moose droppings. Not the black things, but this. I don't know what the black things are. I think they might be stones or something. They'd put the tarp up sometimes. Sometimes it was so hot you really needed the tarp up. So every night, like we'd go to bed and this stuff would stop melting, which would make the water level go down. And so they had to make sure that where they put the rafts, that they would be still there in the morning. You know, they didn't want them to wash away or anything. No idea what that all is. Look, there I am. Wow. That's pretty cool. What do I got there? They were having a great time being with their daughter. Ah, in my little tent. There I am. Going swimming. Pretty darn cold swimming. Trying to show you out the door. They are collapsing them. This must have been at the end. When we finally got there, they were collapsing them. Yeah, this guy, remember, we stopped along the way, and this guy came out and he cooked us some salmon. It's really good. And we hung out. He lived somewhere nearby. He had to fly in to get to his place. There are no roads up there. Oh yeah, this was at his house, or at his place. He had a boat. And I guess we got picked up from there or something, otherwise it wouldn't have been collapsing our stuff. Yeah, it was very somber. It was so painful. So you pick up your tent and shake it like that. Look at this. It was her birthday, so they made a cake for her. Can you imagine out there on the river in the wilderness? All I had was these, what we took with us. He was so much fun. He was the guide who was brother to the couple. Those three were the guides. Oh my gosh, there we are. Ta-da! Looks like my stomach is just sticking right out there. Oh, I look all right. Look how happy everybody was. I don't remember their names or anything, but... This was quite the journey, you know. I think it was 15 days, was it? Or something like that. If you look it up online, it's the River League does it. And oh yeah, this was a waterfall. Yeah, that's what that is over there. The River League, and they are out of Vancouver. And it was called the Taku Trip, I believe. That's no good. It was so spectacular, my goodness. I don't know. I have researched it a little bit. What is all that? I don't know. Maybe it's the sun hitting it. Maybe it's the tents. Oh yeah, so then there was this boat. Yeah, and this is when we would sit around the campfire every night. But I liked going in my tent. I liked it in there by myself, writing in my journal. I enjoyed my own company. Look at how we're just floating along for days and days, taking photos. Oh yeah, and then we stopped somewhere. Where was this? We were somewhere up the Taku from Juneau. I had to bring all these things with me, you know. everything I had. I had. Oh, that's the glacier. I forget the name of the glacier. Is it the Taku Glacier? And there's a restaurant kind of a place there. Oh yeah, this guy, the salmon guy. I don't know what his connection was. It was interesting to walk up to the glacier. It's very spiky. Oh yeah, and then we got a ride. And it was like forever riding on this huge, huge, wide river. And then we come out. And then we're on land. That was really strange to be out. I sure had a good time doing it though, didn't I? Carrying firewood. Oh, this is one time when we had lunch. And so they pulled all the rafts up together, and she made peanut butter and jam sandwiches or something. Very sunburned. I wonder if I could find these folks on Facebook, and give them these photos. That was the outhouse bin. And look, she's showing the size of this track. That's the front paw. Look at how tiny her finger is compared to the front paw. Mom and daughter. More eagles. Setting up the table. Setting up the grill. I bet I could, if I try. I think that was seals. Harbor seals or something. Or sea lions. So this is, north of Juneau. Yep, this was the end of the journey. Oh, look at that. This is a cruise ship. That was so weird seeing a cruise ship. It was so strange. All right, there we did it. You looked at the whole album. Did you expect that? I'll turn this around. Turn it around. Isn't that cool? That's really cool to see. My journals, I've got, I've been trying to transpose them or transcribe them on Live Journal. If you go to Nancy Today / or dot livejournal.com, and you can go in there and go under memories, and you'll see all of the Taku, and all these different press trips. You just scroll through, there's an index under memories, and all the things that are, yeah, wasn't it cool? Boy, I just feel like I just went back on that trip. It's been a long time. I'm so glad that I have this bin. I think one of my bins is wrecked. Got wet in there. I wonder if, the thawing and freezing and I don't think any of it'll be any good anymore, but you never know. It is in those plastic sleeves, and sometimes pictures do dry out. If they've stayed submerged the whole time, then they would only have the damage of the being submerged. but I'm not sure how that affects things when you freeze and thaw. Look at it, it's an hour and 10 seconds. This has been very nice. Thank you for coming along. It's been nice. I have another two more Taku books, but I suppose it'll look mostly the same. There's only so much of the same pictures you could take. Well, that you could stand, I mean. So I'll look at another one sometime and show you another one. Oh, yeah, it's been out there for years. That one that's frozen and thawing. It's been out there before well, no, I guess since the deck went up. So maybe 5 years. Is that all? We've had this thing for 5 years, but I think we got the deck earlier than that. Maybe 5, maybe 6 years. Anyway, so there's no hurry. What it is like is what it is like. It's not going to get any better or worse. Well, I hate to say goodbye, but I think I want to eat some more food. But not the soup unless I put something solid in it. I have some instant potatoes, you know. I could put some instant potatoes in them. I'm not sure if they still taste good. They're old, you know, they're food storage. I'm not sure they ever tasted good. But that would be good. Then I'd have that to eat instead of going to find something like chips. I know, aren't they priceless? Yeah, I can't believe the whole bin is in water. This bin is good, though. I think there are 3 bins. I had 35 press trips. And each trip got a binder. And so let's see how many binders are in this one. And just in case you're wondering, it's never going back out again. So this is, oh yes, USVI, Chesley, Ontario, Wyoming. What's this one? Doesn't have a name. Mazatlan, St. Chris. Oh. Excuse me while I wrench this bag apart. Goodness, it wants to stretch. Okay, so what is this one? Cody, Wyoming. I went there with my dad. Newfoundland, BC on a rail trip. Oh, it's Vancouver to Jasper. And then Curacao. I don't know what this one is. Doesn't have a name. Oh, this is not the Taku trip. This is in Ontario, I think, isn't it? Oh no, this is Gaspé. This is a flock of, which way are you looking? I should turn you around, then I can see what you're looking at. Come on, turn. Okay. Yeah, so this was up at the Gaspé. Isla de something. This is the northern gannets. There's 10,000 of them. There they are. Look at those birds. Isn't that amazing? That. Well, we'll look at that sometime. This one is, what was this? Oh, there's an eagle. So we went up to, see the seal? We went up there to the top or way north in British Columbia, which is north of I think these are shells of some sort. There's a bald eagle. This was northern BC. So it's the same area, but we went on a train. We took a Via Rail trip. Now Scarlett's in here, isn't she? There she is. Here's Scarlett. Ta-da! And there's Mom. Boy, I'm a ginormous person, aren't I? Oh well, that's what it was. It is what it is. There she is. Isn't she beautiful? I'll have to ask her about this because she probably remembered more than me. This was when we got somewhere and we ate. What guide is that? Bowen Island. And some other guide. It's probably British Columbia, obviously, right? Ha ha ha! So this is in Vancouver, where I just was. This is when we went kayaking past all the yachts. And I waved up at them and said, "Thanks for coming out." They were all up there with their fancy stuff on. Not on this one, I guess. This was in Grenville area. Yeah, the kids that went on each trip, you know, that would be important to them. So this was opening day of the yacht club, and we just happened to be out there for a nice little kayaking ride. And we went over these bridges when I was there. I think we took that one to go to the airport. I don't know. The reflections were just so amazing. It was fun. It was so much fun. Now, was there people on that one? They're up at the top. They were up there, standing there in their fancy yacht club clothes. So naturally, I had to wave at them and say, "Thanks for coming out." Isn't that beautiful reflections? Wow, what a great picture. I should put all these pictures on Facebook. And what's this? What are we doing here? Let's see what this says. Faith in the Lord Jesus Christ. So maybe I went to church when I was there. I guess I did. And there's my darling daughter. Oh, look, and we're right beside. There's the cruise ship there. This was where we stayed in the Pan Pacific Hotel, and those were outside. Here it is. This is Canada Place. Yeah, this is the hotel that, and the 8th floor had the pool on it. So you look down, you could see these tops. Isn't that neat? And so this is where I filmed all those Christmas trees. Was there? And up in here was that ride, Canada ride. The Fly Across Canada. That's my darling daughter. She was really young back then. I think she became my photographer when she was 19. See her big camera? She was an awesome photographer. Now, is this our group? There she is, and there I am. She's gorgeous. Yeah, so this is, you see, where are we there? This is a different area. I was a travel writer, right? So that's what I did. But my dad took us all over the U.S. for a couple times. If you're ever in a train, you know, be careful not to wear white because it reflects and you can't get photos out the window. Well, this was, see, there's our train track. Bit of snow up there. Wow. A lot of snow. And that was in the train. Oh, I guess I gotta plug you up. I'm getting a little carried away, aren't I? But I guess it's 8 of you watching, then it must be all right. We were way up in BC. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I guess it's a double track. There she is with her camera. What a beautiful girl. There I am. Boy, I was larger than life. Not really. I was always big. Oh. So this, I think, was in Jasper. I don't know who that is. Wild animals. Isn't it cool? What is that? I guess these are, I don't know, something. Moose? Oh, and there's a mountain goat. It's pretty cool. Be able to see them from the train. Look like llamas, don't they? Yes, it's Anne with an E, isn't it? Oh, look, this is a whole bunch of goats sleeping. Isn't that cool? But they don't have any antlers. Do you know that the number of rings on an antler shows how old the goat is? Hi, Cheryl. Oh, this is moose. Look at all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is there 5, 6? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Is that one down there? Well, 4, 5, and maybe 6. Hi, Cheryl. Look at the velvet on the antlers. That's a moose. Imagine seeing a moose. There he is, right there, with mountain goats. Oh, now these, if you look at these and count the rings, that's how a ring for every year. And I think to go around one is like 75 years old, but this goes further. It's kind of curled again. So these are really old goats. Isn't that amazing? Who would have ever known he'd lived so long? 100-year-old goat? That's just weird. That's what they said on it. Look at those antlers. Oh, there was a hot tub there in Jasper. It was snowing and I was in there swimming. I don't think that's me, is it? Could be. Let's see. Let's zoom in on that. Probably. Look at that belly sticking up. Yeah, oh yeah, leg crossed, arms on the chest. I used to be able to float very well. That's me. Look, there I am. Ta-da! There, big smile there. Yes. I was so happy. I remember that day. Oh, and then this is seals, isn't it? Aren't there seals all along there? I don't know. Is that a helicopter, float plane? Oh, that's not on his back. That's a tree branch. Look at that snow. Everywhere you'd walk in Jasper, there were just moose or antelope. I don't know what they are. This was in Jasper. Jasper Park Lodge. Walk around the lake early morning. That's what all that was. Well, there you go. Oh, look, this is a bufflehead. A bufflehead, isn't that right? Or a golden eye. I think it's a bufflehead. I'll have to look. No, maybe it's neither. Huh, I don't know what it is. Do you know? Harlequin? No, I don't think so. Anyway, that's another volume of pictures. Well, I think we probably had enough for pictures for tonight. Chesley, Willem, and I went there together. What's this one? She says, taking out another one. Oh, this is another Taku trip. Ah, and the articles. Oh, look at this. Let's see what it says. Rafting the Taku watershed. The auto emergency locator transmitter is in the back. You get to it through the baggage. The cell phone is in my pocket, and the radio is on my hip. Lynn, the pilot, said offhandedly as he started the Cherokee 6 airplane. He probably said it on every flight. This was the end of the trip there. That was our stuff. Oh, this was in Seattle. We flew back to Seattle from Juneau. There's the market. And then fly away. Do you want to read it? Okay, shall I read you the story of the Taku? Okay, rafting the Taku watershed. The auto emergency locator transmitter is in the back. You get to it through the baggage. The cell phone is in my pocket and the radio is on my hip. Lynn, the pilot, said offhandedly as he started the tiny Cherokee 6 airplane. He'd probably said it on every flight. Wait a minute, that was our emergency talk, wasn't it? What did you say? I asked, suddenly overwhelmed by the enormity of my decision to leave the relative security of the Breakwater Inn in Juneau, Alaska, and head off with the Vancouver-based River League on an 11-day expedition down the Chesley, 11 days, Inkling and Taku rivers. Nolan is in there too, in remote northwestern British Columbia. Inn owner Michael Allen's words echoed in my head. The minute you step into the woods, you're no longer on top of the food chain. As the engine rattled near exploding, Juneau's mountainside houses moved beneath us as we flew between the knife-sharp, white-capped peaks of the coastal mountains. Mendenhall, Taku, Twin, and Wright glaciers, smooth peaks into elevated beds whose edges oozed down, striped by blue lines where the glaciers split into deep ice falls. Spreading out below the whiteness, deep green spruce spires covered the inhospitable terrain, hiding grizzlies and black bears. A line of bays snaked back and forth between the jutting fingers of the mountains. I want to get a look at Box Canyon, our guide Patricia yelled to Lynn as he banked the plane over a slice between the steep rock cliffs. It was July, spring thaw. The river could be doing anything down there. It knew no limits. If it wanted to, it could rip out 30 trees and shove them downstream where they'd hook together and lodge, forcing the current to rip out a few dozen trees on the other side. On each trip, she'd found new channels on the river had made. Where last time a mountainous finger melted into the water, today the finger was severed near the knuckle, leaving dirt cliffs to slide down both sides. All right, I'll report him. Click. Okay. All right. Click. Stop. Click. Report. Okay, sorry about that. All right. We passed the red Tuja, Tuja plateau, volcanic peaks, and lower dry green hills. A tiny stretch of flat wildflower covered meadow rose up to meet us as the plane set down. 3 well-loaded yellow rafts and 250 miles of river lay between us and Juneau now. Huge piles of fresh moose, bear, and hair-filled wolf scat alongside bare-torn trees lined the wild rose fragrance trail. Soon, spawning salmon would fertilize the riverside aspen and cottonwoods as satiated bears dropped their half-eaten suppers and bald eagles swooped down for an easy meal. The Tlingit natives say it's a good omen to see a bald eagle at the start of a journey, Patricia said, pointing to the one on a crag across the river watching us swing our legs into the rafts. The Tlingit had lived among these mountains for generations. Their youth would stand under 1,600-foot Kawashana waterfall, letting it beat strength into their bodies. Their battles with the Taltons were fought on the nearby plateaus. Now the BC government was attempting to give Redfern Resources Incorporated, an inexperienced mining company from Vancouver, permission to open a closed copper gold mine and to construct a 99-mile-long road crossing 69 pristine salmon-bearing streams where all 5 species of salmon spawned. With continual truck traffic, the goats would flee from the noise, the bears and moose would be hit, but worst of all, a mine and a road meant pollution, poachers, logging, more mines, the encroachment of civilization, eventual development and destruction of their wilderness. All the way all other wildernesses were disappearing. In court, in July 2000, they won a tiny battle, sending Redfern back to negotiating. For a while, things would flow as quietly as the headwaters of the Chesley. The river took us past beaver lodges and otters, while rattling kingfishers and spotted sandpipers swooped along the river. Mergansers, harlequin ducks, and trumpeter swans floated serenely in spite of its increasing speed. River after river added its load to the Chesley, turning it into a raging torrent, until at the Taku proper it widened out and lost nearly all its downhill momentum. It wasted no time depositing silt, sand, gravel, and well-rounded stones behind log jams and at the confluence of rivers and tributaries, creating alluvial plains and sandbars that would become our campgrounds. Small cottonwoods, alder saplings, and tiny black spruce seedlings claim the bit of new land, promising a forest, for a little while at least. Bend down and listen as the river bend down and listen. The river sizzles as the silt rubs against the bank. James, our trip leader, said. He showed us how deep thumps were hidden in the river's symphony as rocks banged on the bottom, tripped and rolled onto cavities that held them secure. Our daily routine unfolded as time passed. We'd awaken to campfire cooked breakfast, break camp and raft until a mid-morning stretch, then for lunch, camping by mid-afternoon. The 5 guides maneuvered the rafts and answered our questions while we'd leisurely watch the wildlife and the scenery, alternately using binoculars and cameras as the green hills rising from moose backwaters gave way to taller, goat-dotted rock faces and cliffs, to miles of narrow canyons, the Inklings' burned forests, and finally the Taku's snow-capped mountains. We'd help unload the rafts, gather driftwood, then pitch our tents and sit relaxing, watching or listening to the river flow by, while the guides cooked gourmet dinners like sweet and sour pork on basmati rice with bok choy salad and fluffy cherry cheesecake baked in a Dutch oven for dessert. Then we'd gather around the campfire and listen to stories of bear encounters on journeys past, of first descent rapids, of magazine photographers clumsily backing into deep rapids, holding their cameras high over their heads, gurgling, "I'm okay, I got the photo." Brad, our Australian guide, felt dismayed as the river kept his things: a video battery, a camera, bear bangers, mace, his cup, and his hat. Waving the campfire smoke out of his face at the confluence of the Inclin, Nallen, and Chesley, he said, "Me and the river had a bit of a chat last night, and the river's going to give back my hat tomorrow." Just then, James, smiling from ear to ear, appeared with a pair of running shoes. "Look what I found. I left them here last year. They're only nibbled a bit on the back," he said, holding them up grandly. That was too much for Brad. But he taught us bear awareness. Sorry. Wake up, wake up, wake up. No, this is, people do like to fall asleep to this, don't they? But he taught us bear awareness. Make noise, keep food and toiletries away from camp, stick together, and stay out of the woods. We did such a good job at it. The huge grizzly tracks that crisscrossed our camps when we arrived were still the only ones there when we left. Here's another page. Another page, please. Where did the other page go? Huh, I've only got 3 of 4 pages. Oh well. Whatever. It's online somewhere. I think I published this. This got published in, well, like in Outdoor Life magazine. They only wanted like probably 100 words. And they paid about, I think they paid 50 cents a word or something. Maybe $1 a word. And then I wrote one for the Seattle Post-Intelligencer. No, that one was for Hawaii. No, I think I sold them this one too. Anyway, that's cool that this is in there. This is fun, eh? I should let you go. Look, there's still 9 people. 9 thumbs ups. Imagine. I guess you guys like this stuff. All right, we'll keep going. And then I went to the USVI. That's United States Virgin Islands. I went with my daughter there. Oh, you like that? Thanks. And she had the time of her life. Oh, there I am. Boy, I look different in that one. That was her. It was my feet and her feet. All right, let's read the. This was in Travel and Leisure section of Entertainment Today. A beautiful education, learning by default in America's garden paradise, St. John. Being 13, my daughter Elida's primary goal while visiting St. John in the U.S. Virgin Islands was to get a tan. However, she got quite an education at the same time. The fun for us began as we snorkeled from the Sadie Sea. Sandy West, who owns the 40-foot Lindsay trawler, slipped up to where Elida was sunbathing on the top deck and pointed out the islands, explaining the difference between the islands and keys, spelled C-A-Y-S, while the boat headed to the snorkel areas. First, she took us to Livongo Cay. The water was smooth, the fish were colorful, and coral was everywhere. This was where Elida got salt water in her snorkel tube and resolved never to snorkel again. Luckily, she had Mom along to force her. At Watermelon Cay, or Key, the water was calm and the coral formations like the sea fans, brain coral, and elkhorn coral were fascinating. At Whistling Cay, the water was rougher at the best area between the 2 seagull rock outcroppings. We had to keep our distance from the narrow areas between the high coral mounds. When we got back on the boat, Sandy had her book ready to teach us the names of what we'd seen. She had seen it all many times and knew about everything. Of course, the other kids were shocked to hear that a nurse shark had swum under Elida. Elida was too. Sandy confronted us as we identified the shark in her well-chartered book. They just suck. They're harmless to people. That's why they're called nurse sharks, because they're nursing. Elida and I learned to swim arm in arm to keep from turning our head to find the coral. Elida and I learned to swim arm in arm to keep from turning our heads to find the coral. To find something. To find something. Water McKay, the water was calm and the conference. Oh, this is the same thing again. Oh no, wait. Here it is. Elida and I learned to swim arm in arm to keep from turning our heads to find each other and getting salt water in our mouths. It was heartwarming each time she'd give me a big thumbs up when she'd see yet another group of colorful fish. Red grouper, parrotfish scraping coral off to eat the thin plant life. The little purple WRASSE, wrasse that cleans other fish by swimming into its gills. A school of blue tang bouncing with the movement of the water, and a host of others. Deanna Somerville had joined us on the boat ride. She's a skilled palm weaver who teaches how to weave colorful coconut fronds into birds, baskets, hats, or whatever strikes her fancy. She began with a fresh green frond and worked it into a bowl while some of us watched. It certainly looked easy when she was doing it. Her CD, which she sells on the internet, explains it step by step and is incredibly easy to follow after she's not there to help. The best place for snorkeling was the U.S. Park Service's underwater trail at Trunk Bay. A large ball floats above the beginning and the end of the trail. Plaques on the ocean floor teach with photos and information about the marine life near each plaque. Everything from sea urchins or pipefish to coral fan. It doesn't surprise me that National Geographic considers Trunk Bay one of the best beaches in the world. The sand was perfectly white, and sea grape trees, the ones with huge round leaves, lined the beach for shade. The water was magnificently clean and clear, and the coral was splendid. Oh, we got this other guy coming in again now. Sorry about that. Getting smarter by watching others, we attached our fish card and coral identification card to our wrists before venturing along the trail. It was so interesting to find what we were seeing as we learned about them and watched as they waved in the waves or dashed along in schools. We even remembered what we'd seen afterwards. Might as well let you see what I'm looking at. Using an underwater light would have improved our disposable underwater camera's photos immeasurably. But even with that, it's hard to take a picture of moving fish, especially when the waves are blocking the photographer at the same time, or moving the photographer at the same time. Back at the Weston Resort where we stayed, a group of steel pan players came to teach kids how to play. They set up their steel pans and labeled areas of the walk-shaped surface with note names. The children caught on, hitting the various spots on the pans with a wooden stick. They sounded like an amateur band just after a bit of instruction. It's easy to lose track of time on the island, but luckily we caught the 4 o'clock entertainment at the Westin almost by accident. The wild iguanas that live under the bushes, there's one. The wild iguanas that live under the bushes and in the sandy undergrowth on the property know it's feeding time. Hi, Jordan. We're reading a travel article from going to St. John, the Virgin Islands. But that was my daughter. Back then, she was young. An employee shows up with a pail of lettuce and starts to toss it out on the grass. As the green leaves hit the ground, iguanas appear by the dozen out of nowhere. Elida feeds an iguana in the garden paradise of St. John. It's amazing to watch as several iguanas flock to the same leaf or attack the same hibiscus flower a child drops for them. The red flowers on the bushes disappear as children glean for more food after the lettuce is gone. The iguanas are quite tame as long as no one moves. They do run away If they do run away, they wobble along on their short, thick legs, their spiky tails swaying behind them. When it isn't feeding time, they can be seen sunning in out of the way places, the sides of buildings, across a rock or a branch, usually looking like a decoration. Although child-oriented, not everything at the Westin is meant to be educational, like the huge trampoline structure floating offshore. There are pool movies at night where children float on the water while they watch the latest show and eat pizza. Hiking the Lynn Point Trail in the National Park was another incredible educational experience. A walk in the park, that's the name of a company if you can believe it, gives guided tours through the dry jungle. A guide points out the names of the plants and animals animals signs along the trail, as well as some of the history of the island. He explains that there's no natural fresh water on the island except for rainfall. On the trail, cactus grow amid mahogany and other trees. The dusty red path through the thick foliage passes slave-built stone fences that are nearly hidden in the foliage. The guide points out the wood ant trails across the plant path. They are blind and tunnel just beneath the surface of the ground, leaving ridges across the path. They eat any dead wood, whether in the building materials or in the forest floor, all except mahogany, wicker, and bamboo, the only indigenous grass. They make large, black, ball-shaped nests in the tamarind trees. The tamarind seeds are used as a coffee substitute as well as for goat feed. Tarantula holes line the path, but don't worry, they're nocturnal. Of course, Elida was a bit freaked out by that bit of information. The guide explains the plant's healing properties, pointing out medicinal tours. The plant's healing property. For example, the sap from the gumbalimbo tree will heal bruises. It's called the tourist tree because of its smooth, reddish peeling bark, similar to the sunburned mainlander. The slaves made drums with the hollow trees and called to one another with their talking trees when they successfully revolted against slavery. The maconochie tree is a powerful tree that burns, causing a painful rash 5 times as bad as poison ivy. Tall, spiky agave, used for making tequila, grows plentifully in the jungle too. Locals cut its tall flower stalk and spray paint them gold for Christmas trees. Agave. The 4-inch long gongolo centipede, which hangs on the branches of the trees, secretes a substance that is good for toothaches, but can be, if it gets in the eyes, temporarily blinding. In spite of the dryness, the island is covered with jungle foliage too thick to walk through, except on trails. So camping or wilderness hiking off-trail is prohibited. As a U.S. territory, St. John considers itself America's paradise, the garden island protected from development. Children certainly think they've been to paradise, even though they have been learning as much or more than if they'd stayed in school. And if they're careful enough not to get burned, they can come home with quite a tan, too. And then the If You Go box. If you go. The Westin St. John Resort is available at $609 rack rate after November 1st. Phone that number for information. For information on Sadie C, phone that number. Visit sadiec.com or email sadie_c at att.net. A walk in the park offers many hikes, eco-adventures, and other offshore tours, like snorkeling, sailing, and fishing, from $25 per child and $50 per adult and up. Visit STJOHNE Coitures, St. John Ecotours.com. Palm Weaver Deanna Somerville can be contacted at castawaycrafts.com. Her detailed CD showing how to make her hat is from Coconut Palm is available on her website for $30. There we go. That's that. Yeah, I guess they were pretty big. They were 4 inches, she said, right? All right, so you want to see the pictures? So there's moi. There's our various feet. And there she is. What in the world she got there? Oh, a CD. I guess we got a free CD. She was having a good time. This is when we went out. We went fishing. Okay, goodbye, Anne. Oh, you live on an island like that? Oh my gosh, how fun. She was a little sunburned, I think. She'd been up there tanning all day. This was one of those fishing yacht things. Guess this was looking from our window, the Weston. The coconut trees. Oh, there I am. Look at that. Mamma mia, mamma mia. Oh, what is that on my head? Let's see. Let's look at this. Those are my braids. So I think I've got a visor on with my braids. That's what it is. It came, yeah, as a little visor. Sorry. Oh my goodness, 7 o'clock. Where's the time gone? So what are we looking at here? I don't know, probably some animal. Oh, this was one of our, I think she was either on the journey or she was our guide. It was when we were on that St. John Trail. A Walk in the Woods is the name of the company. That was pretty cool. Oh, and then they were giving snorkeling lessons. So I guess Elida must have had snorkeling lessons. Oh, and then Chesapeake Bay. Oh, hello, Leanne. Hello, hello. So this was the trip that we took to, yeah, there's my daughter right there. She's got the red hair. She learned to snorkel. I mean, not snorkel, to scuba dive. That's pretty cool. I never got to do that. Yeah, they were all the kids on the trip were together. It was there she is under there. Isn't that fun? She was certainly having a good time. And of course, they treated us royally. It was a press trip after all. And we went out at night in the rafts. See, I think the sun is getting very low. We went out at night and we could see the water, the reflecting, the luminescent stuff was reflecting. I think this is Christianisted. No, that's in another place, isn't it? Anyway, they showed us various stuff. I think, was that in our room? Maybe, I guess it must have been. Oh, and there were all these frigate birds up in the air overhead. These kids were catching the fish. She caught a barracuda or something. These guys caught something. Look, she's got it on her thing. I should show these pictures to her. Man, bet she's forgotten all this stuff. I'm good. I had cabin fever yesterday, but the kids and all the 3 grandchildren and parents came over today. This is what we were seeing when we were snorkeling. Look at that nurse shark that was flying right over, under a light or over or something. But I don't think that the colors were not as amazing as I had seen before. Oh, so this is that U.S. trail, the Department of whatever. Underneath, like, they put labels for everything down here. It was really cool. It's like going to the aquarium. What is that? Is that 2 dolphins? Oh no, that's angelfish. I don't know why he's got that there. Is that to show her or to measure it? And another fancy meal. Oh, isn't she beautiful? Wow. There were these other kids that were with us too, right? The parents all got to bring their children, or a child for each travel writer. There they were, snorkeling away. That's pretty darn cool. Oh, there you could see what my hair looked like. Gotten pretty long there, I guess. That's a really good picture. I should put that picture up on the wall. Ah, this was the barracuda. I think that's what she caught. And of course our tickets. This was August 11th, 2002. Walk the Reef with Renee. Ping pong tourney, harbor deck, beach volleyball, iguana feeding, jackpot bingo, pool bar, iguana toss, kids jump up jamboree, tequila tasting. I didn't do any of that tequila stuff. Anyway. Oh, that was Welcome to Paradise. We invite you to indulge in our sand, sunshine, blue skies, and clear waters. Enjoy your stay. From Todd Hunter, Director of Group Sales, and the management and staff of the Westin St. John Resort and Villas. Night, I'm taking pictures and bird watching, 6 a.m. Came back for new batteries and gone back out again, 6:50. Be back by 7:30. Oh, and look, what is this? This is more tickets and departures and all that stuff. This was what we were gonna, this was our itinerary. Iguana feeding, pottery activity, return to Westin picnic lunch, the Palm Weaver, the Sandy at the deck for St. John snorkel tour, evening night camp for children. Activities include pool-sized pizza party and kids' teens floating thing. Anyway, this was a sort of a thing that we do, eh? Showed all those things. A few extra photos. There we go. That was it, eh? Wasn't that cool? That was really cool. I'm so glad I showed you that. It was fun. So we've just been to the Taku, and we've been to the Virgin Islands. So let's go somewhere else tomorrow night, shall we? It was fun. So like and subscribe. If you want to be notified, click the notification bell when I'm on. I do put up a lot of videos, so if you subscribe, they'll show up on your feed. Pretty cool, eh? That was fun. Thanks for coming along. It was nice. I wasn't, having to watch television tonight. Of course, I'll get right on it now. Anyway, talk to you later. I'll see what you guys have said now. Turn you around so I can see you. Wasn't that fun? So, Leanne, did you just get here, or were you on there before? All right. Well, I'll see you guys all later. Thanks. Oh, your granddaughter just left too, so you're just resting. Like, phew. Every time I go on Minecraft, I look for you, Leanne. But I guess I only can see your stuff when you're there. And I can't, I guess I could invite you. I could invite you on mine. That was fun, everybody, wasn't it? It's been nice. I'm glad you could all come. It was fun, eh? An hour and 10 minutes. Or 110 minutes. That's more than an hour. That's an hour. That's an hour and 40 minutes. Well, if you're not asleep yet, zzz. Okay, I love you guys. Thank you for coming. You can all say goodbye to each other. And you can do this at home. Like, look into your old photo albums and tell people about it. Have a good night too, Leanne. I'm glad you had the chance to play with your granddaughter. Okay, and I've got a few videos, little shorts I've been uploading from the last time that the kids came. Love you too. I can't show you when they're all three of them because one of them's parents wants nothing on the internet, so I have to be very careful. We love you too, Susan. When is your surgery? Oh, it's not until COVID settles down, right? All right, we're all praying for you, right, guys? Susan. Okay, see you later. Bye. It's been fun. Where's that thing now? There we go.